गुरवे नमः। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम तहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम तहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। मुख में हो राम नाम, राम सेवा हाथ में। मुख में हो राम नाम, राम सेवा हाथ में। तू अकेला नहीं प्यारे, तू अकेला नहीं प्यारे, राम तेरे साथ में। विधि का विधान जान, हानि लाभ सही है। जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। किया अभिमान तो फिर मान नहीं पाएगा। किया अभिमान तो फिर मान नहीं पाएगा। होगा प्यारे वही जो श्री, होगा प्यारे वही जो श्री राम जी को भाएगा। फल आशा त्याग शुभ काम करते रहिए। फल आशा त्याग शुभ काम करते रहिए। जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। जिंदगी की डोर सौंप हाथ दीननाथ के। जिंदगी की डोर सौंप हाथ दीननाथ के। महलों में राखे चाहे, महलों में राखे चाहे, झोपड़ी में वास दे। धन्यवाद निर्विवाद राम राम कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। अंग अंग रंगिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। काम रस त्याग प्यारे, राम रस पगिए। जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। सीताराम 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 कहिए, जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए। जाहि विधि राखे राम ताहि विधि रहिए।
Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to come together with all of our family here, blessed as we are on the banks of Mother Ganga, and with our family joining us from all over the world. We are so blessed to have this opportunity to dive together into truth.
Pranam, Puja Sadhviji. You mentioned in the last satsang the example of a TV set with different channels at different levels of reality. You mentioned how the spirit does not ever cease to exist in the material world, but that it is which is created, and it never can be created nor it can be destroyed. You mentioned how the material world dissolves into that spirit. But I wanted to understand, when you move through our material and physical existence with the wisdom, with this wisdom that you mentioned, could you elaborate on how the spirit is not necessarily just different channels, but that the spirit exists within each of the levels as well?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So I think there may have been a little bit of maybe a misunderstanding with the explanation from the other night, because when we were speaking about different channels, what she's referred to is, a couple of nights ago we were talking about the different ways we interact with existence. One being this idea that everything is an illusion. All that is true is spirit, soul, oneness. And the other channel being the awareness that even though ultimately we are ocean, we also have the experience of the wave. Even though ultimately we are spirit, we have the experience in the body. It's a very important distinction, though. We never stop being spirit. We never stop being that which is infinite. We never stop being the soul, being divine. In the same way, you'll remember, as I was saying the other night, the channel that you turn to doesn't just start broadcasting because you've turned to it. It's been broadcasting. So in the same way, our truth as soul is there regardless of whether we recognize it or not. This is what spiritual practice is. Spiritual practice does not make God come. It does not make you soul or spirit. It does not somehow make the truth exist. It makes you able to access that. It makes you able to know that. Whether you see that or not, it's there. if there's a huge wave, the other night the example that I had given was the example of a wave in the ocean. That the wave's highest truth is ocean. Even at the peak of its waveness, it is ocean. And in the form of the wave, there is also a reality there. It's not an illusion, just like an optical illusion of thinking there's water far off in the desert, but your eyes are playing tricks. The wave is real. If you're a surfer, you can surf it. If you're out in a boat or you're surfing or you're a swimmer and you're not a very good swimmer, and the wave is very strong, you can drown, it can crush you. And its highest truth, regardless of its size, its shape, its force, its highest truth is ocean. In the same way, we have a body. That body has its own tendencies, its own skills, its own abilities, its own size, its own shape, its own strength, its own weaknesses. Those are not illusory. If you cut me and I bleed, that is not an illusion. If I break my arm and I don't go to the hospital and I don't get it fixed, the fact that my arm no longer works is not an illusion. And yet, functional arm or no functional arm, white skin, brown skin, black skin, tall, short, fat, skinny, old, young. Our highest truth is soul, spirit, consciousness. But we have different ways of focusing. And that's what the different channels that I was speaking about were about. It's not about truth. It's about focus. So in the TV set, those broadcasts are all on, all the time. Channel 2 is on, Channel 4 is on, Channel 8's on, they're all on. You get to decide what you're going to focus on. In the same way, the highest truth of me as divinity, as love, as soul, as spirit, that is on. Even if I'm prancing through the world saying, you know, I'm this color, or look at my beautiful body, or look at my beautiful clothes, or I'm the, CEO of this company, you better do what I say, or I can be in as much illusion, as much false identification with my body and my role as I want to be. But the truth of who I am is always there. It doesn't need me to focus on it. Like you can sit in a dark room, you can close the curtains. That doesn't make the sun go away. It's not that you open your windows and the sun then says, oh, thank God, I've been waiting to rise until you opened your curtains. The sun doesn't wait for you to open your curtains to rise, it's on. You catch the sunrise, beautiful blessings for you. You don't catch the sunrise, maybe tomorrow. But the sun's not going to wait for you to get up in order to rise. So in the same way, that highest truth is there, regardless of whether we are in illusion, regardless of whether our curtains of our mind are closed or open. What sadhana does, what our meditation does, is it enables us to change that channel. It enables us to go from the channel that says, I am my body. I'm identified as my history, as my role, as my relationships, as my story. It enables us to literally go, bored with this show, right? You're watching a TV show, you may get interested for a moment, and then you decide, usme dam nahi hai, I'm very bored. Not an interesting show. ये तो बहुत time waste का है. And you change the channel because you realize मेरा time बर्बाद हो रहा है. This is a silly show. In the same way, a lot of us spend a lot of time really stuck in this false identity, in the body, in the identification with that. And then our spirituality wakes us up and says, "Are ye to bahut time waste hai." Chalo, let us change the channel. Realize I'm soul, I'm spirit, wow. I'm not a certain height or weight or skin tone. I don't need fairness creams or tanning creams or diet pills or get a little pudgier pills. I don't need anything. Because who I am is soul, is spirit. And yet, at the same time, I have a body. I'm aware that that channel exists. I'm able to take care of it, but not to get sidetracked and distracted to actually watching that channel all the time. It's enough to just know that it's there, appreciate it, appreciate this beautiful vehicle that you have. Another way to think about it is, let's imagine you're on a very long car ride. So you decide you're going to drive from here, not just to Delhi, but let's say you're going to drive all the way to Kanyakumari from Rishikesh. Okay? तो वो आपको काफ़ी दिन लगेगा. Now, you can do that ride in a couple of ways. One way you can do it is you can keep watching that dial on your dashboard that changes every kilometer. And you can watch every kilometer. If you have a fancy dashboard, maybe it even gives you the 1/10 of a kilometer, 1.1 kilometer, 1.2 kilometer, 1.3 kilometer. You can pay a lot of attention to the ants that are flying onto your windshield. One ant, or flies rather. One fly, two fly, three flies. You can pay a lot of attention to how your body feels in the seat. Chalo, back is getting a little stiff, arms are getting a little stiff. Or you can turn on some beautiful music and you can be lost in the music. Or you can be doing your japa, engrossed in japa while you're on the way. So many different ways you can spend that trip. And it's just a matter of focus. Because of course, whether you are paying attention to it or not, the kilometer thing is turning. Whether you're paying attention or not, flies are landing on the windshield. But it's up to you of, am I going to spend the next 4 days and thousands of kilometers counting them by 1/10 of a kilometer at a time? Every time I talk to someone and they say, "How are you?" You say, "Ab 15 kilometer ho gaya. Ab 17 ho gaya. Ab Delhi aane wale." But that's not who you are or how you are. That's just where you are. And a lot of us mistake who we are for where we are. Otherwise, think about how many times in a day do you say to each other, "How are you?" Right? I know here, for example, we all live together. Right? You think about in a family, or if you're in a dorm room or in an office where you're with people all day long. How many times during that day do you say, "Hi, how are you?" 5, 10, 20, every time you pass them. Now, it's very polite, but the truth is, if we really knew who we are, that question would be very silly. Because we would say, "Hare, how am I?" Well, I'm exactly the same as I was when you asked me an hour ago. I'm exactly the same as I was when you asked me this morning. I'm the same as I was when you asked me 2 weeks ago. Because neither who I am or how I am is changing. Just where I am is changing. Where I am physically, where I am mentally, emotionally, psychologically, cognitively. But who I am isn't changing. How I am in this universe isn't changing. So, circling back to the question, of course we are spirit all the time. Of course we are truth and love and consciousness and divinity all the time, even in the midst of the most ignorance, even in the midst of our most attachment to drama or attachment to the body or role. But I'm not able to access the awareness of me as spirit when I'm in those moments. And that's where I need to just change the channel onto something that's more true. We could call it the not fake news channel, right? We have our fake news channel and then our real truth channel. And to change that channel from fake news that says, oh my God, you've gained 5 pounds, or oh my God, you lost 5 pounds, you better do something. Or oh my God, you've got a pimple on your nose, or oh my God, that person stole your idea and presented it to the boss and now they look smart and you look stupid. Or oh my God, that person was so mean to me. We decide, all right, no more fake news. And we turn that channel off. And we turn to the channel of reality.
So the second question is, how do we stay with reality and not fluctuate between fantasies, desires, infatuations, emotions, etc.? Do you suggest any tools or techniques for this?
Absolutely. This is where our practice of meditation comes in, right? When we meditate, what happens? We're meditating, our awareness is with our breath or with our mantra. And then slowly something grabs our attention. Maybe we hear a car horn honking. Maybe we smell some coffee. Something happens and it grabs our attention. And immediately our mind jumps on it and hooks itself into it. And we say, oh, that coffee smells so good. I don't know why I gave up tea and coffee. I really shouldn't have given up tea and coffee. Anyway, who says tea and coffee are wrong for us? I remember I had the best coffee one time when I went on this trip to Italy. And I was sitting outside in this cafe. It was so nice. Then this really handsome Italian man walked by, I remember. He smiled at me. Now, where's my meditation gone? Right? So here I am, I'm meditating, I'm with my breath, I'm with a mantra, a simple smell of coffee. And suddenly here I am back, God knows how many years ago, sitting in a cafe in Italy with some handsome Italian hunk who walks by. Meditation is over. But what do? When we practice meditation, what do? We bring the mind back. Whatever style of meditation or technique of meditation you use, it's always about bring the mind back. If it gets distracted, a thought, a smell, a sound, a sensation, don't hook the awareness in, just bring it back. The moment you notice the mind has wandered, just bring it back. Just bring it back. And this is not only for our active, eyes closed, seated meditation time. This is actually the teaching for life. Because life is the same. We're going on about our life. We're anchored in mindfulness, anchored in awareness, anchored in consciousness, anchored in love for all. And then someone says something, and it's really obnoxious. It's really rude. It's really hurtful. And what happens? We lose. Suddenly there we are, in anger, in defensiveness. Who do they think they are? How dare they talk to me like that? Don't they know who I am? I've been so nice to them. I try so hard. Why would they talk to me like that? It's not fair. It's not just. And we've lost. We've lost our moment. There we are in the drama. Because of course it usually also doesn't end there. Then we go into, I remember a year ago he did it to me also. Yeah, last week he did it to me also. He always does it. I say one thing one time and the boss yells, or the teacher yells, or my parents yell. But this guy all the time, or this lady all the time, nothing happens. Not fair. So we get into stories and dramas, and we lose our anchoring, just like we lose it in meditation. And the answer is the exact same. The moment you notice you've lost it, just bring it back. Sometimes literally mid-sentence. I know when I was a kid, we used to play this game where you'd be at a party, and they would turn on the music, and everyone would dance, and then whoever was running the music, middle of the song, middle of the line, would just turn the music off suddenly. And the rule was that wherever you were, when that music stopped, whatever funny position you were in the middle of dancing, you had to just freeze in that position and hold it until the music started again. And then you would again dance, and then the music would again stop, and you were, one leg up, one leg down. And I think about that a lot because it actually is a great skill. It was just a fun kids' party game, but it's a great skill. With adults, what you find is, if the music stops, they will get themselves back into kind of a normal position. If the leg is up, they'll put it down. Arm is up, they'll kind of bring it down. Mouth is, they'll close it. Unko malum hai ki log dekh rahe hain. People are paying attention. I should not look stupid. But kids are not like that. Kids are much freer. The minute the music stops, they're frozen. And it's such a wonderful skill because this is how it happens in life. You're in the middle of something. You're saying something, you're yelling at someone. Or you're in your own mind having your own personal drama. And suddenly that music stops. Suddenly there is that moment of, oh my God, I've lost it. Look, I'm gone. And what you need to do literally, mid-thought, mid-word, I don't care if you literally are like halfway through some obscenity that you're yelling at somebody, halfway through the word, if that's when you realize you've lost it, just stop right there and bring it back. Bring it back. And of course we think, oh my God, samne wale kya sochega? What are they going to think? But the truth is, If you think about being in the other situation, if you think about being the person being yelled at, being the person someone has just lost their temper at unnecessarily, you already think they're crazy. Nobody gets yelled at and thinks, oh yeah, they're really right. Boy, I'm so glad this person has taken the time to show me where I'm wrong. Right? Somebody shouts at you and you're thinking, Hare kab bandh ho jayega. Like or you're thinking they're crazy, or you're planning what you're going to say next because you know this is crazy. And if somebody actually stops in the middle, if you also are on a path of opening consciousness, I personally would be very impressed. If someone mid-sentence to me stopped and said, oh my God, I've lost myself in this drama. Oh my God, I've lost myself in this anger, and stopped, I would be so impressed. So don't worry about thinking that that person was taking you seriously when you were yelling at them and now is not going to take you seriously. I can pretty much promise you they weren't taking you seriously. If you were really yelling and shouting, as it was, they thought you had gone off a little. At least now they will think you've come back. And what's most important in any case is not samne wale kya sochega. It's how you are in your path. The number of lives that have been ruined because of samne wale kya sochega. It's probably more than we've lost in every single war throughout history combined. How many lives have been ruined because we lived only according to what we were worried other people would say or think? At least stop now. At least have that awareness. Mid-internal drama, mid-external drama, mid-hijack by the ego, to just say, thank you, God. You know, when we go to temples and we ring the bell, right? Why do we ring the bell? It's not like we have to wake up, God, I'm here, coming in now, hope you're dressed. Right? I mean, God obviously doesn't need to be awoken or need any notice that we're entering a temple. It's not like you're going to somebody's house and you give them a few minutes to get ready. Why do we ring the bell? We ring the bell for ourselves. I'm going into a temple now. Get my mind straight. Ring out the nonsense that was going on. I'm now entering a holy place. That bell is literally to ring out the craziness of our own mind. So get yourself a bell. Really, get a little bell. I mean, if you're serious about the path, get yourself a little bell, carry it with you. Keep it in your pocket, keep it in your purse, and the moment that you realize you're going somewhere, just ring your bell. Ring your bell and come back.
Sadhviji, the third question is...
By the way, that would be a great gift to give out as prasad.
Yeah.
I think we should get a whole bunch of those bells and give them out as prasad. Little bells we can give people. Like on keychains. Bells on keychains. Because everybody's carrying keys all the time. People could ring their bell.
The third question is, in which form are the enlightened masters like Mira and Kabir now? Can we reach to them?
In which form can we reach to them?
No, like in which form do you think they are now? So in what form would Mira and Kabir be in today's world, and how can we reach them?
So of my favorite spiritual teachings come together here. One of them is the teaching in which Bhagavan Krishna says, whenever darkness in the world is winning out over light, whenever darkness is overpowering light, when adharma, lack of dharma, is winning out over dharma, I incarnate in form to restore the light to the darkness. I incarnate in form to restore dharma to adharma. So that's one teaching. And the other teaching is when we are told in actually many different teachings, in many different scriptures, but just sticking with Bhagavan Krishna for a moment, when he tells us, I am present in the heart of all of my devotees. And in whatever form the devotee worships me, I appear to the devotee in that form. So we have these different teachings. Number one, whenever there's darkness and adharma, I incarnate in form. And I am present in the heart of the devotees and in whatever form they worship me in. We also have teachings in the Upanishads that remind us that the entire universe is pervaded by the divine. So when you take these teachings together, to me what it means is that divine lives within all of us, every one of us, and has incarnated in us to restore light to the darkness, to restore dharma to adharma. And it's not about where can I find it outside of myself. Sure, yes, of course, there are so many beautiful saints, mystics, sages, in form right here. We are so blessed to be here with Puja Swamiji. And looking at these teachings of the scriptures, every one of us is being called upon to recognize that incarnation of the divine within us in any form, in every form, in order to bring back light to darkness, in order to bring dharma to adharma. And so, yes, by all means, take the blessings of the sages, of the saints, absolutely. And also spend some time finding that presence of the divine within you. Because this incarnation is not just about let the saints and the sages do it all, and we get to be sheep. This particular moment in time is a moment that requires all of us to wake up. It requires all of us to experience that presence of the divine within us. The Guru, when we say Guru, it is the one who brings the light to the darkness, who dispels the darkness and brings light, who shows us the light of ourselves within us. The Guru is not the one who shines the light on himself or herself and says, hey, look at me, worship me, bow to me, do my bidding, but is the one who shines the light on us and says, see that truth of you. So it's yes and yes. So yes, absolutely, there are many, many beings on earth today who are fully realized in the embodiment of that divine. And your highest calling is to find that being inside of you. And yes, of course, being in the presence of a guru, of an enlightened master, is a huge help along the way. A huge help, a huge blessing, a grace, an immeasurable grace. And we are being called upon to find that within ourselves. That's the light the Guru shines on us. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, a beautiful morning, day, wherever you are in the world. We will be slightly shifting our schedule for satsang and meditation. We will let you know. I have to go back to America for a few weeks, but we will be continuing the satsang and meditation, but the schedule will just shift ever so slightly. So keep your eyes on our social media pages. We will be sure to let you know what the new schedule is and keep you posted in advance of when we'll be able to be live together.
Vargo